Hello, everybody, and welcome to I will come up with a name for this podcast eventually, but it's the pilot episode. Yes, this gameplay is only background for some topics that I have to talk about here. I want to talk about some things in the motocross sport, and yeah, motocross is a sport, by the way. I don't know if you all knew that, but I have some topics here. This is going to be a podcast form. I'm just going to list out, or I'm just going to go down the line of these topics that I have. And yeah, we're just going to get into it here. So if you guys like the podcast, maybe I will try to get it out on other platforms that you might listen to eventually. But yeah, let's just get straight into it here. Here we go. Like I said, don't have a name for it. If this takes off, I'll come up with a name for it. But yeah, pilot episode, here we go. So like I said, I have some topics, and forgive me, this is not going to be good at all. My first really time talking about this stuff, but yeah, here we go. So my first topic, we're just going to jump straight into it here. My first, well, you could kind of bundle these two into one, like a 2-for-1 special here. So this is really one topic, but it's split into two. I split it into two in my notes. The best places to race for pro motocross and supercross, and I guess eventually the super motocross thing. So we're gonna start off with the best MX track, in my opinion. You guys can leave your opinions in the comments below. So let's talk about some of these MX track facilities, because I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, and yeah, in my opinion, Spring Creek, Millville is my favorite. I'm not even gonna lie, Millville is my favorite. I've been there. I went there last year. It's a really cool facility. These hills are absolutely massive. They're bigger than they look on TV. But yeah, I like it because it's like out in the middle of the nowhere. I feel like motocross tracks that are in cities, like it's not a real motocross track. Like for Paula, for example, sorry, I'll get better at this. Like that one's cool, but that one's too urban-y to me. If you don't know, Paula's hills that they go up and down on, those are man-made, and a lot of the riders complain about that. And Paula, even though it's my home track, it's probably the worst on the schedule. I just go to it because it's close. There's things I don't understand about this series, but I just refuse to talk crap on it because I know some people, and I'm learning to not talk crap on everything. It's something I need to learn. So yeah, Paula, I would say. Glen Helen, let's get into that here for a second. It's on this topic, but not really. It's more of the story of why Glen Helen ain't on the schedule. As far as I know, Bud Feldkamp, the owner, and MX Sports got into a huge argument. But do you remember when Glen Helen hosted the GPs for I think they hosted it for like 3 years, I believe. But yeah, they hosted the GPs. I know in 10, maybe 11, and 15 and 16. I never went to any of them. I didn't even know what GPs was, MXGP was back in those days. So yeah, but back to American side. I feel like, okay, we can also bundle this into a topic, because I feel like the attendance of the outdoor series so far this year, with the exception of maybe High Point, has been terrible this year. I'm not even gonna lie. I was at the Hangtown National this year. I was at Paula this year. Those are the two I've been to. That was the least crowded Hangtown I have ever seen, and I think the reason why the Nationals aren't crowded this year is the lack of riders. So we can get into the 2023 what I think of the 2023 season so far, aka what is becoming the Lawrence Show. Man, I'm starting to get very disappointed in its 250 class. For the fact that it's just becoming a Hunter Lawrence show. The first two, it was pretty cool to see Lawrence, get third and then come back and get the win and take the overall. That was cool, but then when it happens two more times, and it starts happening over and over again, you start to see a pattern. It starts to get like, well, I already know what's coming from Hunter in the second moto. And, I mean, with the exception of High Point, it's been the Jet show. I mean, Kenny threw his name in there for a little bit. But it's been the Jet show pretty much the whole year. And, I mean, there's not much else to say. And I think the fact that now we're starting to see a pattern in the 250 class. I don't know. We just got done with the week off. Red Bud is coming this weekend. So maybe it'll get better now that these guys have some rest time. Maybe we'll see Cooper Webb come alive. Maybe we'll see other guys come alive. But it's really starting to become the Lawrence show. Jet is 8-0. I honestly think maybe if Chase comes back, he'll sneak in there and break the streak. But unless Chase Sexton comes back, we're going to see a 22-0 season from Jet Lawrence. That's just the fact. But hey, Mr. Chase Sexton, come in and shake this up, boys. He's not going to be in there for the championship, but he can shake it up. I mean, he's coming off the Supercross championship. A lot of people would say that Supercross championship is luck from Eli. Please don't piss anybody off. You got to be there till the end, and I'm sticking to that. So, like I said, there's not much to say other than the Lawrence show. And yeah, but best pro motocross venue has to be Spring Creek. As far as like there's things that go into it. Spring Creek, if you go to that one, there's not a lot around it. Like, I believe it is like 2 hours from Minneapolis Airport, if I remember correctly. I think we were driving for like 2 hours. And it's also, the airport's not that far from Mall of America. So if you go to Minneapolis Supercross, if they ever go back, you could do some stuff there. But if you go to the outdoors, I would suggest staying in Rochester. It is pretty close. It's probably about, I believe it was like a 30-minute drive from Rochester, that downtown, to the track. But a lot of these tracks, like Hangtown, you could probably, other than Paula because it's at Fox Raceway. I feel like most Californians know where Fox Raceway is, but also I talked to some people who I think are in the dirt bikes and this kind of stuff. I tell them, oh yeah, I went to a race. They ask, oh yeah, where? I go, Paula, and they go, where? So, I mean, so can you imagine if I said, oh yeah, I went to Spring Creek? They really go, where? But then I feel like, subtopic here, I feel like SoCal fans, I feel like we just do it just to do it. Like, I see people, like, here's the thing. If you're going to go ride your dirt bike, go ride it on an actual public track. Yeah, I know it sucks to pay, but hey, you paid to get your dirt bike, so might as well. And I might get canceled for this whole rant. I don't care. It's my podcast, not yours. I'm not bought and paid for. Like, I'm fine with riding your dirt bike on the dirt and at a public track. Like, I love this stuff, but I absolutely hate it. Like, if you got the street bikes and it's got all the blinkers and the lights that it's supposed to have, cool. You go ride that thing. If you want to put blinkers and get the thing registered, like an actual Kawasaki 450 registered for California DMV, go right ahead. I have no problem with that. The moment you illegally ride a dirt bike somewhere in a legal spot, somewhere, just somewhere you're not supposed to, that's when I get pissed. That's when I get pissed. I just don't like that. So, that, I feel like that's most of California. Not saying everybody. Not saying everybody. But a lot of Californians do that. And it really pisses me off. But I feel like, I don't know. I don't know about the state of the sport right now. But like that's my opinion. If you're gonna ride dirt bikes, do it at an enclosed public track, because at the end of the day, we're just all having fun riding our dirt bikes. That's what these guys are. And I don't hate it. It kind of annoys me. Even though I did it as a little one, we probably all did it as a little one. Think guys like Eli Tomac and Adam Cincerillo and Chase Sexton, they're just some gods and they're just some celebrities. They really aren't. If you think about it, Jason Anderson, as far as I know, is putting together like a real estate profile or something like that. Like, they're just normal humans. And yeah, I did idolize them back in the day, but I was naive back in the day. Now I see him, I say, hey, what's up? Big fan of your racing. Like, good race last weekend or something like that, or like good luck in the next one, something like that, and then I just leave him alone. I just leave him alone. Do I sit there and go, holy mackerel, this is so cool, I'm sitting feet away from David Villeman? Absolutely I do that, but I'll do that in my head. So yeah, I think that's where people get confused, especially here in California. Well, I feel like everywhere. Like, I'm not one, I was back in the day, but I'm not one to just go up there and go, oh my god, can I have your autograph, can I get your photo? Even though I have done it before. Even this year I've done it. I just treat them like normal people. And if I do have to interview them for something, some side thing that I do as a volunteer, I don't ask them the same damn question. Yeah. For the 2 races, I did do the media scrum stuff for just a side thing that I'm doing. Yeah, I asked them how their race went, but I also want to ask them, like, hey, what's their favorite song? Because these guys I feel like should be treated as normal people, because they are normal people. Even the big celebrities, like, I don't know, who's a big celebrity at the moment? Let's go that Tom Holland guy. He's just a normal guy. He's just got a God-given gift of acting. And the guy's really good at acting. I hate Marvel movies. Sorry, I'm going to get canceled for that too. Hate Marvel movies. But I can respect the acting in it, okay? There you go. I said something nice about Disney. For the people who know, I don't like Disney. Sorry. I'm just so disconnected from the society. It's unbelievable. But yeah, so these guys are normal people. We should treat them like normal people. And also, something that really pissed me off, and I feel like us as moto fans are getting better, or at least the casual moto fans are getting better at it now that a lot of cool stuff has came out, like Patreon and OnlyFans, that kind of stuff. Back in the day, if you went, like, back in 2018, 2019, if you went back in the day and you went to the private tier pits of Supercross, nobody was there. Absolutely nobody. And it would piss me off, because normally, and I'm not talking crap on any of the factory guys, because if you get Eli Tomac in the right setting, he's actually pretty funny. He's actually pretty cool. I have gotten him in the right setting, like after a race that he won. I was able to talk to him for a bit. Really cool dude. If you get Chase in the right setting, really cool dude. Jason Anderson's always cool. But my point is, if you talk to the privateers, they're almost always cool, man, because they don't not saying anything here, but they don't always get the love and attention, unless it's me, because I never go to a race and not stop at the privateer pits. Like, I have some privateer friends in the industry now who ride, actually race the series, and they're really cool, man. Like, they're just super cool. And if you're watching this, you know who you are. I kind of went off on a tangent there. That'll happen sometimes. Other things. Let's go back to what we were talking about here. Best facilities to have a race at. Like I said, I've only been to 3. I've been to Hangtown, Fox, and Spring Creek. Spring Creek is easily the best one. Spring Creek has the best coffee shops around it. I'm not even gonna lie. Because yes, there's Starbucks and all that stuff, which I feel like, I don't know why, but I don't know why. Why is it that every rider drinks Starbucks? I don't understand. I mean, you got so many cool coffee shops, especially around the SoCal area where I'm from, about 20 minutes from Fox Raceway. You got so many cool coffee shops, and everybody just picks Starbucks. I guess Starbucks is the one that's really close to the track. Like, there's a lot of Starbucks in Temecula, but there's also a lot of cool ones. I know there's one that closed down that probably could have been popular, but it's in Marietta as well. I just went there today. Shout out Rival Coffee. But like, I don't know why everybody drinks Starbucks nowadays. Like, I just don't understand that. So, but like I was saying, Spring Creek, and I know a lot of people are gonna jump on me for that and say, well, these guys are on diets, and these other cool coffee shops are very sugary. I'm not lying. I'm not gonna argue that at all. I will not argue that at all. But they also do like black coffee too, so I don't understand that. So, I think I just came up with the podcast name. Anyway, so like there's other coffee shops around Minnesota if you have Yelp and you know how to use it. I guess going off of that, I guess we could talk about Supercross facilities now. Now, Supercross facilities, I feel like it's harder to pick one, or not facilities, I'm sorry, venues / cities / well, venues and stadiums is the same thing, that's right. I had that in my notes. So I guess we can talk about Supercross venues now. We have like 30 laps, but I also have an hour time limit here. We can talk about that kind of stuff now. Like I said, anything that you guys disagree on, don't like what I say, please let me know in the comments. Like I said, I'm not bought and paid for at all. This is just me splurting things. Trying to make money. So, anyway, best Supercross venues. Now, this is tough because I have, and I guess we can go current, even though I could talk about some old memories from Qualcomm. My first Supercross was also, I believe, no, it wasn't the first dirt bike motocross event I went to, but it was the first professional one I went to. It was San Diego 2010, so that would have been Qualcomm era. Qualcomm Stadium was so cool, and honestly, sidebar, when they demolished, that's the word, demolished that stadium, I was so sad, man. I was so sad that they demolished the Qualcomm Stadium. But now we have Snapdragon Stadium, so I'm going to talk about just each of the 3 that I've been to so far, and I'll keep them secret here, even though San Diego, you might be able to guess the other one. Anyway, San Diego, so I've been to all 3 venues that they've hosted, because I was at Snapdragon this year. So I've been to Qualcomm, Petco, and now Snapdragon. I don't know how I feel about Snapdragon yet. I think I have to go another year. Actually, no, I do know how I feel about Snapdragon. It's way better than Petco. I remember, so I went to Petco Park the first year that they had it in Petco Park, so that would have been 2015. That parking there was an absolute joke. I mean, Petco Park parking on a baseball game, too, is a joke, too, because I've been to plenty of baseball games there back in my baseball days. That parking is absolutely a joke, especially the first year they had it at Petco. It's ridiculous, man. So I'm glad they moved away from Petco. Petco, as a venue, like, take away all the other crap that Petco had going on for it. Had it going against it. It's actually a cool venue. I love that place. The food there is absolutely amazing. So if you ever go to a Padres, that's the team that plays there, right? Padres baseball game. You gotta go try the food. Phil's Barbecue, Seaside. Anyway, I'm just revisiting old childhood memories. I hope to make it back to a game one day. Even though I'm not gonna wear my baseball gear, I'm gonna wear my moto gear. Anyway. The pits at Petco Park were terrible. I am confident saying that. If you've ever been to Petco Park for a Supercross, you know you had to walk like 2 damn blocks to the pits, and it was so miserable. And I was also there in 19 for that Mutter race. I guess it was okay because you could stand like under a porch of a big ass building and get protection from the rain. But and coincidentally, there's a Starbucks like 3 blocks down in that downtown area. But yeah, Petco was cool. Qualcomm was cool. Qualcomm, I think, takes the cake here. I just think Snapdragon's a little bit too small. It's got and anybody, I mean, you might be able to agree with this. Some people said some of the riders said it reminded them of Salt Lake. I don't think so. I mean, a little bit, but it had more of the, remember when we went to Orlando in 21? Even though I didn't go to Orlando, that's the kind of vibe that I got. I was like, oh, this is probably what Orlando Supercross was like back in the day, back in 2021, even in 2007. Even though 2007 was different than when they went back there in 2021. Can I please learn how to speak? This is probably going to be listened to by thousands of people, and I mean thousands of people. So yeah, that's the kind of vibe I got. The pits were much better, even though they were really smaller. Definitely the smallest San Diego Supercross I've been to as far as pits and everything. I don't know if you know, though. That stadium, Snapdragon's built very close to, like, I think the grass field where they had the parking for the normal people like me was Qualcomm back in the day. And Qualcomm back in the day takes the cake. It was a nice enough stadium. I loved it. Obviously, I was a kid. Saw some bitchin' races there, too. So, I think Qualcomm takes the cake. But Anaheim, the other one I went to Anaheim 1 for the first time. So, I never went to Anaheim 3, but I assume it's kind of like Anaheim 2. But maybe a little worse. But Anaheim is great because first off, you could say I was raised in that stadium, just for the fact that I was at baseball games like every 2 weeks back in 2010, and like every month in 2011. So I know that stadium like the back of my hand. Yeah, it has changed since that time, and I actually haven't been to an Angels baseball game since I went in 22, that's right. And holy mackerel, that stadium is amazing. I love that stadium. It is a little old, I'm not even gonna lie. It's from the 60s. I believe it's like the 4th or 5th oldest ballpark in America. So, but yeah, obviously I love that place. Pits, even though it seems like it's a big pit party, it really isn't. The biggest pit party I've definitely been to, and this is by far, in my opinion, as far as lodging, as far as entertainment around the stadium, as far as other things around the stadium, food, Glendale State Farm Stadium takes the cake for me for the best Supercross venue slash city. And I understand why they hosted the football championship, whatever that is, there. Man, I gotta say, Spring Creek and what's it called? Arizona State Farm Stadium takes the cake for the best Supercross city and what's it called? Motocross facility. So yeah, another thing we can talk about here, and this will be our last topic, is moto gear these days. Now I was listening to the Re-Raceables with Jason Wygant, Steve Mathis. Shout out to that. Maybe we'll do something like that in the future on one of these, just revisit an old race. But I was listening to them talk about 7 gear, and it kind of made sense. So if you go back to gear back in 2012 and beyond, it was super baggy. Like, obviously I didn't pay attention to that stuff, but when they said it, I was like, wait a second, you're right. That was really baggy gear. And then James Stewart left Answer in 2012 and started 7, which is his own gear company, which that blew my mind when I heard that. Oh my god, James Stewart started that, because James Stewart I looked up to growing up. But if you noticed, that's when tight gear became a thing. If you look at gear now compared to 2012, it's a lot tighter. And if you really think about it, that 7 kind of started all that. But I guess that's a little history for you guys. My topic here is the best moto gear and just moto gear in general. It really, I don't know why this annoys the crap out of me. Have you noticed they started wearing Fox in 2016, I believe. But even back to where they wore Thor, have you ever noticed, and it really pisses me off, and I think Rockstar Husqvarna gonna change here. Actually, I think they have already changed, at least for their 450 side. If you get on Pro Circuit, you have to, as far as I know, and I have no insider information here, except for the little bit I know. If you wear a Pro Circuit, or if you're on Pro Circuit Kawasaki, you have to wear Fox gear. I believe that is their gear sponsor. Like, you can't change. And honestly, I know, well, actually, no, I probably shouldn't say this because I'm going to get hella canceled for it. But I don't know why, but it's a minor annoyance to me. Like, honestly, nothing against Pro Circuit Kawasaki, but that would be a deal breaker for me if I couldn't wear the gear of choice. It happened again in 2021. Barsha had a huge, as far as I know, once again, no insider information here. As far as I know, Justin Barsha had a huge deal with Alpine Star. Like, huge deal. And then Troy Lee said you could not keep that deal. Absolutely, I don't know why that bothers me. Because they had the gear sponsor Troy Lee. Why would you ride for Troy Lee's team and not wear the gear? Absolutely bothered me. Same thing with Star. Even though I think Star is a little bit more lenient, especially with Eli, you have to wear Thor gear there. It's just a really minor annoyance for me. And I believe Honda is the only one where, hey, you get to choose your gear. And honestly, if you ask me, Alpine Stars is the best moto gear in the business right now. I know a lot of people argue that. They got the best design. It's really comfy, especially when I'm out riding my scooter. I wear Alpine Stars and a big ass helmet. Don't ask why. It's just Alpine Stars got the best designs, and I've also this little bit of information might sound like, oh, you're just sucking up to them. This is just because they follow you. No, they follow me because I love them. Yeah, Alpine Stars MX follows me on Instagram, which that's pretty cool. Like, I was so honored. But it's because I believe it's because I met the dude who ran the account, back at Hangtown. And also, I feel bad for that guy, because holy mackerel, I blow up his DM saying, oh, Alpine Stars gear is beautiful and all that stuff, which it is, and it's comfy, especially that Super Tech stuff, man. But I just have to say, Alpine Stars gear is the best in the business at the moment. Can't wait for their 2024 stuff to come out. And honestly, I believe, now this is just my opinion, please don't roast me, because I know a lot of people love Alpine Stars. I know that. But a lot of people don't like this gear, and it really pisses me off. That North, believe they call it the North jersey, the North stuff. It's like they have it in gray and black and red. Just go back to Jet Lawrence in Oakland, and that's the gear he's wearing, is the North stuff. And then they have the gray version, which was what Hunter was wearing at High Point. That stuff, I think, is the best moto gear of all time. I have the red, black one. That is easily my favorite gear from 2023. I also like the Super Check stuff, especially the red stuff that Hunter was wearing at Paula, and he wore at Detroit this year. And then the blue and green stuff that Anderson did his promo stuff in, and Hunter wore it in New Jersey. Eli wore it when he won the 2022 championship last year. That stuff is really cool. Just all Alpine Stars gear, like, it's kind of like Pixar movies to me. Like, I don't hate any Pixar movies. Same thing. I don't hate any Alpine Stars. There's might be one was like, that one's not as good as this one, but I don't hate any Alpine Stars gear. And hey, that's just an opinion of mine. You can tear me apart saying Fox is better, Canvas is better. We all have an opinion here. As you can tell, I'm wearing Alpine Stars gear here. The old stuff from 13, 14, 15, that is ugly as hell. But the new stuff, woo! Back in 2021, I had noticed it in 2021. Eli was wearing this stuff, his stuff. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then 2022 came around. I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. But then this year, when they started debuting it last year, I was like, oh, this is actually so cool. And no disrespect to the other brands. There's stuff from the other gear companies like Thor, that red and white stuff that Cooper was wearing at Thunder Valley, and he also wore it at San Diego. That's hard. Like, I love that's cool gear right there. Some of the Fox stuff I can appreciate, but Alpine Stars reign supreme. And I hope this pilot podcast reigns supreme as well, because that is the end here of the pilot podcast. Let me know. Let me hear your takes on any of the topics that we talked about. If you guys want me to do something like this again, I will do it again. If you want me to do a podcast type thing on race recaps, I will hopefully get to that. But yeah, this is the pilot episode of. I'm gonna integrate this podcast name with something with coffee. So yeah, I actually wasn't drinking a coffee. Maybe I will be next time. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this. I know it's long. All podcasts are long. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. Bye bye.